I chose is titled Middle School High Five, Strategies Can Triumph, written by Amy Goodman. Goodman is the literary support teacher for 9 middle schools in Anchorage School District in Alaska. She saw there was a need for district-wide and content-wide strategies and instructions. Using the same strategies allows for repeated practice across all content areas. So she created an initiative called Middle School High Five that would include 5 reading strategies that are proven to improve reading comprehension. The strategies selected were ones commonly used in the schools and also reflected the different strategies of the reading process. Those strategies chosen were read around the text, KIM vocabulary, 2-column notes, reciprocal teaching, and VIP sum it up. Layered books like this one, with each of the 5 strategies, were created with step-by-step instructions, teacher-friendly instructions, and content area examples for teachers to teach the 5 strategies without any extra preparation time needed. The Middle School High Five initiative was approved and put into action after winter break, giving a 10-week window to implement before statewide testing took place. Each strategy would be focused on for 2 weeks before starting the next strategy. Staff members were introduced to the Middle School High Five principles, and a flyer with a summary for each strategy was given with additional materials. Each middle school teacher in the Anchorage School District was given the materials to incorporate into their normal instruction. English teachers introduced the strategies first, and then each content area came afterwards. So now let's talk about the strategies. Strategy 1 is read around the text, and this is a series of 6 steps that ask students to preview the text before they read it. It helps students set a purpose for their reading, make connections with their prior knowledge, and ask questions regarding what they're about to read. All of this leads to a deeper reading comprehension. So let's look at the 6 steps of reading around the text. Step 1 is look at the pictures and what ideas are being presented. And you can see in this picture down here, they're pointing to the pictures and probably asking themselves that question. Step 2 is look at the captions and read them. What do you know so far? So the captions. And step 3 is look at the maps, charts, and graphs, and discuss what information they represent. Step 4 is look at the titles and headings and ask yourself, what's the big idea? Titles and your headings. There's many in this article. Step 5 is read the first and last lines of each paragraph for more information. And the final step is ask questions, giving yourself a reason to read. Now let's move on to strategy 2, KIM vocabulary. This strategy helps students learn several words at a time. You can see in this handout, I have 3 different areas for the KIM words. You can put more on a worksheet, but this is all I have room for. So teachers choose the words that they think are important from the text. Then the students will, K, record the key word. For I, they're going to write down important information about the word, which is essentially a student-friendly definition. And for M, they're going to create a memory device by drawing what the key word means with a picture. And the final step for the KIM vocabulary is writing a sentence, including the key word, and using it correctly. Strategy 3 is the 2-column notes. In the article, this strategy was first learned in language arts and then applied to other content subjects. The 2-column notes models the process of good note-taking, allows for easy studying in the future, and also allows students for self-testing. A piece of paper is folded in half, giving 2 columns. 1, 2. The left column is for recording the main ideas, and the right column is recorded for subtopics and supporting detail. Some teachers incorporate the concept of power notes, which gives numbers based on importance. So in column 1, or the left column, you're going to use the number 1 for your main ideas. In the right column, or in column 2, you're going to use numbers 2 and 3 to show levels of importance. Some students found this method to be easier than outlining and more organized than mapping. Strategy 4 is reciprocal teaching. The article stated that This was the least comfortable strategy for the teachers. But moving on. Reciprocal teaching is a strategy that relies on 4 comprehension skills: summarizing, questioning, clarifying, and predicting. It can help the active reading, lesson interruption while reading, and better comprehension and engaging students. Students must become adept with these skills because they in turn teach the information to a partner. For this strategy, cue cards were provided, and the cue cards gave the teachers a guided role and allowed them to feel more comfortable with this strategy. For the lesson, the teacher will first model the 4 skills. An effective way of doing this is clearing 4 sequential days in order to teach a skill for each day. Now onto the reciprocal teaching. Students should be ready to apply the 4 skills simultaneously in smaller teaching groups. A set of 32 colored roll cards, like these, were created. And I guess really the set that you make, or the number that you make, is going to be dependent on how many students you have in your class. The cards are randomly distributed, and students form groups of 4, ensuring that they have 4 different roll cards represented. The teacher divides up the reading material into manageable chunks and tells students to read the first section of their text silently, using the roles they've been assigned. So let's go over the roles. The first one is summarizing. And with summarizing, the student will read the assigned section carefully. They'll think about the main ideas being presented. They'll jot down those main ideas on paper. And they'll use boldface print and headings to help. They'll also tell their partner or group what the section was about. And then they would avoid retelling all of the little details. In the questioner role, they're going to, again, read the assigned section carefully, think about the main ideas being presented, jot down 3 to 4 I wonder statements about the content, read 1 question to the partner or group and ask for possible answers. You can share your thoughts as well. And then continue discussing the rest of your questions. For the clarifying role, again, they're going to read the section carefully, think about the main ideas being presented, jot down any words that they find confusing, and jot down any ideas they found confusing, and talk to the partner or group about their confusions and see if anyone else in the group can clear things up. And then the final task for the clarifier is ask your group if they had any confusions and try to clear up any of their concerns as well. And the final role is a predictor. And they'll read the section carefully, think about the main ideas, and that seems to be a running role for all of these roles. Based on what you've just read, predict what you think you'll read next. And we did that in one of our assignments in class. You'll jot down 3 or 4 predictions, which again, we did that in our novel worksheets. And then talk to the partner or group members about the predictions and see what they think might happen next. When all group members are done reading silently, students have a discussion using their assigned roles, as I showed in the roll cards. Reciprocal teaching continues until the entire selection has been read and discussed. Then students will shift their roll cards to the right each time so they all get exposure to all of the skills. As students become more skilled with the strategy, they will begin to depend less and less on the roll cards. The ultimate goal for this skill of summarizing, questioning, clarifying, and predicting is to become automatic so students can read and discuss with ease. And for the last strategy, VIPs and sum it up. In case you didn't know, VIPs is very important notes. But this strategy is used during and post-reading. It breaks down the information into chunks. First, the teacher makes sure the students can identify the main points in the text. Then, the students were given 6 strips of post-it notes to mark the main ideas. Then they worked in groups to compare main ideas and reduce the number down to 3. Now the students have found the main points from what they have read. Teach them how to start an effective summary using the ABC strategy. This strategy keeps students from writing a weak topic sentence like, the article was about, fill in the blank. So for this strategy, you're going to use a 3-fold paper, and students will mark each column with A, B, and C and use the ABC formula. In column A, they're going to identify. Students will record the title and author of the text. In column B, a strong verb is chosen from the reference sheet, and that will include all of the strong verbs that the teacher has chosen from the text. And in column C, that's where they're going to write the main idea of the text. Students need to remember this is only their topic sentence. So having a strong topic sentence along with 3 main ideas, the students are ready to write a summary paragraph of the text. So in conclusion, over 7,500 students across 9 schools in the Anchorage School District participated in the Middle School High Five initiative. The students learned the importance of each comprehension strategy while receiving ample practice throughout each content area that led to being able to apply each strategy on an independent level. Few teachers felt the initiative was burdensome, while the majority felt it was worth trying. The real test of the initiative were the scores from the Gates-McGinty standardized test. The scores from the test given in early September was compared to the one given in mid-May. The comparison showed all 9 schools had an above-average growth, showing that the 10-week initiative proved to be a contributing factor to the growth. So based on the gains made during that initiative, the Middle School High Five initiative will be reinforced in future years, with additional time allotted for each strategy, giving incoming students an extra year of strategy reinforcement.